Hello, everyone. Welcome to this show. I am Waqar Saleem. I'm an associate professor in computer science. Some of you may know me. We are here for a show by BrainHack. I also happen to be the patron of BrainHack, and my co-host is.
Hello, I am your co-host. My name is Altaf Shaikh. I am the president of BrainHack, which is a chapter that is associated with ACM. So this is the show Students in Spotlight, and this show is particularly there for people, for students in our community uh, who aspire to be inspired by their peers. Because the greatest inspiration is when we see some of our peers excel and do well in some of the things. So let's say there are some students who have done who have achieved exceptional things in the field of CS. Let's say it could be coding competitions, it could be hackathons, it could be an internship or a job that they are managing alongside their work. So those are the things that we are here to highlight. And today we have a group of 5 talented individuals who took part in an hackathon. And over to Waqar Saleem.
Thanks, Altaf. So, as Altaf mentioned, we want to highlight students who have done interesting things. Today, we have with us Team GharPay. GharPay consists of 5 members, quite a big team, just as big as the Kavish maximum limit. The members here, I'll just go in the order in which they're sitting around the table. There's Faz Abidi, Muhammad Jawad, Abuzar Rasool, Asad Raza, and Hussain Abbas. They are team GharPay. That's a nice play on words. And I think Altaf is going to ask them more about the name and what they did.
Okay, so first of all,
Sir, can you mute yourself?
okay, so first of all, I would like to ask for the few that okay. So just tell us a bit about yourself and how was what was the experience that you were a part of, and just you as a team, that what made you participate in it, and how did things start when about your this particular experience. Any one of you can unmute and go.
I mean, it was pretty random. We have a group chat together. We discuss a lot of things about it, and especially we all are very interested in Flutter technology. The first person in our group to get into Flutter was Abdul Rasool, so all the credit goes to him to get us all into Flutter. And it was a random message by Faz Abdi in our group chat. He sent us a link of this hackathon. It was a huge prize of 10 million rupees or something, first prize. So it catched our eyes like very quickly. So we all decided to sign up, and we were just experimenting with ourselves, but we never thought we would win, and we did. So it was a huge experience for us.
And indeed, yeah, like it was the first time we all 5 of us were participating for a hackathon, and we didn't expect it that we'll win this one. And as like Hussein mentioned, there wasn't any plans as such to look forward towards this. But yeah, at the last minute, and I guess if I'm not wrong, we submitted the Google form link when the deadline was closed. Yeah. After the deadline, like the deadline was passed, and then we were like, yeah, let's just participate, let's see what happens. And it was a 3-day competition, and yeah, we worked to the best, to the fullest, and we weren't expecting the outcome, but yeah, it was indeed a good experience.
Okay, so can any one of you like share what exactly was the event? What sort of activities was it based on? What sort of particular CS domain was it? Did it comprise of? Can any one of you share something about that?
So there was no like a particular CS domain as such. So we were given with like 5 challenges, 5 tracks that we could work on. One was from civil, one was from airlift, and one was from JS Bank and from other renowned companies that gave us the problems that they were facing in their companies, and how we can come up with a quick and a nice solution. So the track we chose was the JS Bank. So the JS Bank track had 3 problems in their bag. I won't be going over the problems because they were like pretty complex, but we went the problem with which we went with was the remittance one. And yeah, as my group members mentioned, it was a thrilling 3-day experience and we learned a lot.
Also, just to add on what Abuzar said, that it was a hackathon organized by Remotebase. Remotebase is an emerging startup. So they called it the largest virtual hackathon ever in Pakistan. It was in collaboration with government of Pakistan, IT, and it was in collaboration with JS Bank and JS Bank, KDSP, and several other organizations. So yeah.
Great, great. So, Faz, you are the one who shared the link in the WhatsApp group. So, how did you learn of this opportunity, and did you win your 10 million rupees?
So a friend of mine in some other university shared it with me, and I opened it. It obviously it said you could win a 10 million worth of prizes, and it was quite eye-catching. So I shared it on group, and other people also find it interesting. So yeah, we jumped right into it. And about the prizes, I think we, as mentioned in the description, we came fourth overall in Pakistan. We also won JS Bank Challenge Award, and we were the best design submission overall out of 580 teams. So we won around, I think, worth of 3.3 or 4.4 million rupees worth of prizes.
Was this all one prize?
Or multiple prizes that added up? Multiple prizes.
Very nice.
There were small prizes. There were individual prizes. There were group prizes.
And well, apart from the prizes specifically, I would mainly focus on what we tend to learn within those 3 days. And since Hussain already mentioned, Abuzar was the first person who tried to work on Flutter and introduced all of us to this new platform, to this new framework. And to be very honest, it was our first hands-on experience on working on an application for such an hackathon or a competition-based program. And it was indeed a tough competition because we only had 3 days in our hands, and not exactly, and instead, in fact, we had 3 days, but the day one of the competition just went through whoosh, and we were just analyzing what shall we work on, and what shall be our domain, how shall we keep our approach towards the app. And it was 3 a.m. in the night, and we were yeah, bas aaj ke liye bahut ho gaya, and we should just sleep, and we'll wake up early in the morning, and then we start working on the coding all the platform. So out of 3 days, 1.5 days we had in our hands just for the working and the implementation, and the rest of the days were just spent. Rest of the time was just spent on how shall we work, what would be the approach, how would we divide the teamwork. And yeah, indeed, it was a good pull off.
Yeah, just to add on,
so
we were not in it for the prizes. We were in it for the experience. Can you hear me? Yeah. So I was just adding on that we were, not looking to win. We obviously know that we cannot win. We were in it for the experience. Just a couple of days before this hackathon started, I completed my bootcamp for Flutter. And after a few days, I am participating in a hackathon. How can I, assume that I can even, make up into the top 10? So we were in for the experience, and after wasting 1.5 days out of the 3 entire days we had, we eventually, at some point, we decided, hey, let's call it off, that this is way beyond our scope and we cannot pull it off. Let's go home and just wrap it up. So it was we made this decision in the later part of the night, and I said that it's too dark outside. I cannot leave for my place right now. So let's stay here for the night, and we leave in the morning. And while we were resting through the night time, suddenly Abuzar, he got a hint, this is how we can start working on it. And we just it took us 1.5 days to make the entire application, our submission, that placed us on the lead board. So ये सबके लिए it was too overwhelming.
That sounds really interesting. And I mean, that is an important aspect of like group projects, that sometimes the group is stuck and then one person suddenly clicks and he's got the idea, then you move forward, and then again you find another hurdle and then somebody else clicks. That that's I think a beauty and essence of group work. And I think getting exposed to things like Flutter, etc., would also help you like in the future courses at Habib, like software engineering, etc. So it's definitely going to be a valuable experience in the context of university and post university as well. So next, let me ask you guys that for this particular event, so whenever there are competitions, there are like certain criteria that you have to be a undergraduate student to participate, or you have to do have these skills, or these you have to complete certain criteria to match certain criteria to be eligible to participate. Were there any such criteria for this particular event? What were the qualifications that you particularly had that enabled you to participate in this event?
So actually, this is one thing that we didn't think about when when we just filled up the sign up forms. So when we just entered the competition, we were like introduced into a Slack channel in which we saw software engineers that were like with 15 years of experience, with 10 years of experience, that we could not like easily beat. So also I saw a Flutter lead over there. There were like, it was open to all. There was no age limit. There was nothing that can stop one from like participating. So like I said, it was like a thrilling competition, and what I noticed that we were the youngest to participate in that competition.
Very nice. So, for those of our viewers watching right now, maybe they have not participated in a hackathon like this. So, you said this was the largest online hackathon. So, maybe you did not get to meet the other participants. You were on a Slack channel. So, can you walk us? You've already mentioned how you spent the first 1.5 days figuring out, maybe going through this period of hesitation that maybe we don't qualify, maybe there's too much. So, how was your experience? How did you feel when you were selected? How does it begin? Were you in on the morning of day one, were you given the topic and then you had to think about it? So for people who are not familiar with the process, can you walk us through the 3 days?
So it was Friday night, I guess, at about 7 p.m. The competition officially started, and after the opening ceremony, they released all the tracks and the problems associated with those companies that we have to choose one of them and start working on it. So we had our night. It started from 7 p.m. Friday night, and we had until Sunday evening. The submission was at 2 p.m., I guess. So this is how it started. I guess Abuza, you can carry on from there.
So after the opening ceremony, like Jawad said, we were introduced to the challenges, and then after that, one of the renowned companies like Civil and JS Bank, they publicized their API on a sandbox so that we can use them. So we started like exploring each and every track and what option could be the best, as we can't matlab, we were not able to figure out what is the best path to the win, what is the best innovation that we can come up, because the problems faced were like a trivial problem, and then we can't like innovate them that much. So the on the first day, when we slept, uh, we were like highly demotivated. Then we went for some deserts, and then we slept. So after that, I just came up with a cool name, GharPay, while I was just resting at Asad's home, and I just convinced everyone to like start working. And I chose a track, and I gave them a small direction, and they all like improved it, and then we started working. And the second day was also a great chaos in which the JS Bank APIs were not working actually. So Faz could like explain it in a more better way.
Yeah, so one of the most challenging part of this project was its functionality. So the GharPay's app main functionality was to use their API. So we have to use their endpoints to uh, carry out different functionalities like transferring money or receiving money or converting currencies. But their documentation and their APIs were just not working, and we wasted a lot of time trying to figure that out. And it was indeed a lot of chaos. But in the end, we we decided synchronous request, and we explained that to the judges, and judges were pretty impressed as well. That it was a great comeback to the response of APIs not working to just simulate the asynchronous request instead of simply abandoning the functionality of that.
So actually, I would add something over here that when the day Saturday we started with like planning out the things. I drawed some UI screens, and then Hussein helped me, Asad helped me on the UI, and then we started working. On the other hand, Faz and me were also like figuring out the back end. So in the 7 p.m. in the evening, we received a call from Remotebase, and they said that the track you chose, the API, the track you chose, that the JS Bank APIs were not working. So we were like, okay, so we have to like go with an alternate solution. Then, as Fast said, we came up with this alternate asynchronous simulation of the API. So we integrated that, and on the third day, we okay. So then on Saturday, we all didn't slept. Asad like slept for 2 hours, and we were like all awake, and we were working. So I started prototyping, and Faz and Hussein started coding, and then we were like shifting our jobs and back. We were doing things back and forth. So we completed our project, and it was a time to present. So we had only like half an hour to get our video ready and to present. So that video making was done mostly by Asad, and he would explain that.
So we divided our work not specifically in different parts, but yeah, just to give you an overview. Specifically, I and Hussein worked on the front end part, whereas Abuzar and Jawad and specifically Faz, they were constantly trying to integrate the API into for like connecting the front end with the back end in order to form a structure of the basic application. And the remaining work, mainly like that includes a report and a video and a teaser, that was done by me. So I don't know if you guys have seen the video or not, or if you can play it. It's just like 1 minute long, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So we can give you like the video could give you an overview of the application, like how the screens were looking and what were the functionalities. And to add on with the topic was specifically on remittances, since it was related to JS Bank. And JS Bank, the challenge was based on like create an application for concentrating the foreign remittances that comes in Pakistan, and like because a lot of people face many issues with the remittances issues, like specifically with the tax problems, and the remittance doesn't occur on time. So the basic purpose of this application was to create an application that is based on the remittances part. So if you could play the video, if that's possible, so that would be good enough.
The video was really the main aspect of our presentation, and judges really liked it. And I think we came forth because I think because there was video was a really important part of our presentation, and it was really worth making that video and worth spending the time to make that video. So video had those little animations, and we are playing around with different UI visuals, and so I would really like Altaf to.
Also, I would like to add that we knew that the APIs weren't working, so the backend of our application was not that strong as it was supposed to be. So visual was our only stronghold. We want our app to look as good as possible. So the UI had to be perfect, the video had to be perfect. So that's why we spent most of our time on that, and we just simulated the APIs. We just showed how the API would work if it would have been working, if the APIs were correct.
So we'll see if you can get the video to work.
Abuzer just shared the link, and I'll share the screen, and then we can see the video. Abuzer, would you like to walk me through this? This thing? Maybe if you share directly the link, YouTube link with me, I can share it.
So while that is being set up, I think that was very quick thinking of you. So now that the API is down, most people would have given up. So were there other teams in the track who did give up because the API wasn't working, or were you the only ones left? Were you the only ones who said no, we'll continue with this? How did that work out?
So actually, there were teams that were dropping out, but they were like making their own front backends, which was like an intensive task. When we are talking about 2 days, when we are talking about hackathon, like that is done in 2 days. We can't like create a backend for a remittance system in 2 days. So they want like a pretty brute force solution, or the methodology we followed was like quickly iterate, was like simulate the response that was coming from the API. So we just integrated that, and that was an idea that just came on my head, and I just suggested them, and they all did it.
Yeah, as Abuzer said, many teams drop out, and the ones and the remaining ones were starting to build their own custom backends, or to basically to show something, that they have something functional to their app. But we decided to, but doing custom APIs or custom backend, it clearly showed in their presentation that they were lagging in the presentation and in the front end. So yeah.
So did you appear fourth overall, or were you track?
Fourth overall tracks.
I see.
It was basically fourth out of 560 teams altogether, all over Pakistan, and specifically the winners of the JS Bank track, because they had individual prizes for the track winners as well. Like as Abuza mentioned, there were multiple problems, multiple challenges of different sponsors: Civil, Airlift, KDSP, JS Bank, and I guess there were a few more. If I'm like, I don't remember exactly, but like, so they had the prizes to offer for different challenge winners in the respective fields. So we won the JS Bank challenge as a whole, and to add on, we also won the best design award out of all the teams and participants that participated in Remotebase. So there were altogether three sort of awards. Fourth, as of like out of 560 teams altogether, the specific winners of JS Bank track, and best design out of all the teams that participated in the event.
Well, now that you have revealed the sum that the five of you collectively won, I believe that our viewers will soon be asking you for some kind of treat. Now that you're rich.
Okay, so let's share the video that Team GharPay made for this particular hackathon. Can you guys see the screen?
अस्सलाम वालेकुम अम्मा, आपने रात के इस पहर में फोन किया है, सब खैरियत तो है?
वालेकुम सलाम बेटा। हाँ, सब खैर से है। वो दरअसल मैं तुम्हें कल बताना भूल गई थी कि आज गुड़िया की स्कूल की फीस जमा कराने की आखिरी तारीख है। क्या तुम अभी पैसे पाकिस्तान भेज सकते हो?
जी जी अम्मा, आप बिल्कुल फिक्र ना करें, मैं आपको अभी पैसे भेज देता हूँ। Hey Siri, open GharPay.
Opening GharPay.
So yeah, that was the video.
Okay, very nice. So, so you did mention that ultimately what you presented was this video, and that you had right. So this is a feedback that shows technical people listening to us. So, what was the solution? What tools did you use?
So we started out with the front end, and the project remained till the front end because the APIs were not working. But we did our best that we could do in like 2 days in the front end. So what we did is that we went with the Flutter framework for developing this mobile application, as we knew that we all like I started it first, and then Jawad, and then Hussein, and then Asad. So like we were like all like good in it, so we went with it, and so just coming back to this last day of the hackathon in which we started pitching. So as you mentioned, that what were the things that we showed to the judges. So I would like to just first of all give an introduction of how the judging happened. So there were like three shortlisting rounds, in which first of all you have to make a submission or a dev post. So I will also share I have also shared dev post link with Altaf. So I don't know he can share it or not. In this link you will find a submission with all the details that you can get over there. So you can also get the GitHub repository and all the work. So in on that blog, on that like forum, we posted a submission in the Remotebase hackathon, and then we then this was like a first shortlisting session in which we were like shortlisted from the teams that were uh, like we were like picked out, and then I think like 150 or
Yeah, that 120 teams were. Yeah, so the competition was kind of tough, as we mentioned. Like there were 560 teams, and only 120 out of like exactly 60 teams could go in the next round. Like the submission was open for all the participants, all the teams, but in order to clear round one, there were only 60 teams that were able to clear round one. And then there were further shortlisting criterias for different another level. Like as Abuzer mentioned, there were like three levels of judgment, and the first, like for the first level, we cleared with the rest of the 60 teams, and then eventually they were shortlisting the teams for the next rounds.
So the second round included pitching to the local remote based judges, in which like we pitched them, and I was like pretty confident that we would passing uh, looking at the competition that we had. Uh, so After that, when we were shortlisted, like we all went crazy because we didn't because all of them didn't expected this, but like I had a gut feeling that we would like go over there. So in the last like in the pitching session, in the last pitching session, we were like left with 9 other teams. So we were like 10 teams in total, and we had to pitch to judges from Fang, and it was like something that made me very nervous because me and Asad were pitching, and Hussein Jawad and Faz were making the content and getting things ready. So the final session was like something that went. I didn't even remember what I did in that. So I think Faz would explain that.
So in the final presentation, there were different judges from the FANG, and there was the CEO of Fireflies.ai. It's a startup, and so there were different judges. There were different teams, and all of them were really good. Some teams did really good job in their own challenge, in the KDSP challenge or in the civil challenge. And it was we were really nervous at that point, and Abuzer and Asad did the pitching, and we we show in our pitching session. We first show the judges the video. We showed the judges the video, and after that we demoed our actual app. And it was followed by several questions about the APIs or about the front end, about the collaboration we did, and we after the pitching ends, after every team had done their presentations, we at that time too we were not sure about we winning this hackathon. We were really nervous, and the other teams really out outperformed in their own specific challenge. But considering they were they had many years of experience. They were software engineers in different. So they were software engineers from Systems Limited, from Folio, and several different software companies. And yeah, but eventually we won for it.
So specifically for the video part, the video like there was a specific form of a platform that we chose in order to make the video, and that was, I don't know if you have heard the name or not. That was Rotato. Rotato was the application that we chose on, like that was a particular platform that we chose to make the video. First things, like Rotato was in, like it was free, but they just had the watermark applied to that. So like we were like, I just spent that whole particular night on checking out on different packages of After Effects, Adobe After Effects, and Premiere Pro in order to just add some advancements, and in order to make it look more better and more good in that sense. But since this PC doesn't support a graphic card, we weren't able to just extract out and just purify the video of Adobe After Effects. And the last chance we had was to use the Rotato app. And there was one more limitation attached to that, and that was Rotato app was only able to work on a MacBook, not a Windows laptop. And as you can see, we all have Windows laptops. So it was 1 a.m. at night, and I called my friend, "Kya main aapke paas aa raha hu, I need your MacBook in order to extract the video, and please mana nahi karna." And they were like, "Nahi, aaj masla nahi." So I went over there, I just got his MacBook, I entered back home, I just designed I and Hussein were particularly working on the video wala part, and they were integrating the back end and the front end. And I'm talking about the last night, the final night just before the submission. So we made different sort of animations, get it checked by all of the teammates. Ki, haan, ye sahi hai, is it looking good? They were like, "Haan, it's good to go." And then we exported the video, and then the video wasn't that much easy, but again, it was mainly the video that showed how we did and what was the main implementation and how our app looked. So yeah, it was a plus point for us indeed.
And we even got we got a separate kind of appreciation from the judges, because they said that we were a group which escalated our project to a product, because this was not an introduction to what we have made, but it was much of an advertisement. We were explaining the use case and how to use it. Like, it was brief, to the point, and showing all the aspects of the application. So they appreciated on and said, "Okay, we should really look into it." This, although it was a project-based competition, we took it to another level, and we were we had no idea that we could even pull it off. So, and just try to understand that all of this is happening within a span of 3 days. We are making the application, which is not completed yet. Asad and I had to record our voiceovers for the character जो video के start में आ रहे थे, and then उसको उसके ऊपर edit भी करना है, and then we have to put the relay of our app recording, and finally we have to render it together, and rendering takes whole lot of time, and you cannot even predict कि कितना time लगेगा इस video को render होने में, because it was a graphically intense video. So all of this is happening, and we are just hoping कि बस सब time पे render हो जाए, और we कि हम लोग अभी submission within time दे दें. And I guess we were like 15 minutes or 20 minutes before the deadline अभी हम submission जो है वो submit की है. So बहुत ऐसा environment था for in the room for the 3 days कि I guess I cannot ever forget for my entire life.
Okay. So just as we saw the video was really amazing and cool. It had so much cool effects. So the next thing that we would like to ask you is that after having undergone such an amazing experience and doing so well in it, how do you guys? Is there anything that you believe that through which you can motivate the Habib community or you can inspire them? I mean, you are doing that by being here. Of course, that they can get inspiration and motivation from your experience. But is there any way through which you have planned or have any plans or any thoughts to benefit the Habib community through this particular experience?
So basically, one thing that I'll like to tell you that we going into this competition were, have, I personally have never worked on a proper application on Flutter. Excuse me. So I have worked on small tasks like adding a button. I basically am more inclined towards the UI based Flutter. So adding a button, small task I can do it, but I have never worked before going into this competition. I had never worked on a proper full application. So going into this competition, I never knew I would have been able to do it. But I'll tell you one thing: nothing gets done until you start doing it. So the first thing you have to do is to motivate yourself that even though you don't know how you will do it, but you will get there if you start doing it. So yeah.
And like apart from that, trust me, when we saw the other participants and we were like they were aged for like 45, 35 with the like 15, 20 years of experience working in one of the best companies all around all around Pakistan and all around the world, top software houses with an experience of 20 years and plus. And we were like, we are just undergrad through third year, and it's very hard for us to just cope up and just provide them with the final document, final product. But yeah, like we just got stick together, and like since we know each other since first semesters, we had that bonding amongst ourselves as well. And like we all know our loopholes, we all know कि हम कब down है कब up है, and we know how to just like charge each another. So that was a plus point as well. And all thanks, indeed, all thanks to Abu Rasul, because he's like the main key aspect of like, because he's like working specifically on Flutter since day one, and he had all the experiences with all the know-hows. And whenever we got stuck, he was always there for help. कि यार हाँ इसको ऐसे करना है. I have work on this and I have some experience and I'll help you out with that. So yeah, it was indeed the teamwork, and teamwork is what that counts.
Also, just to add on, okay, keep looking out for opportunities, keep looking out for different competitions, different hackathons, different competitive programs. So, और अगर कोई भी ऐसी opportunity मिलती है, do apply.
I would also like to add one thing over here is that like find groups, find your friends who are like sincere with you. So this competition didn't only like was meant to boost me up technically, but it also like made me emotionally strong. It made me like more connected with my group partners. So Waqar can acknowledge that we are like roaming around the campus together. We are in the class together. So and we will be hopefully in the Kavish together. So
So the five of you, your friends, you have an amazingly well knitted group and you participated together. But let's say there is a certain individual. Let's say there's a certain persona. Can you describe that persona? What would be the persona of a person who should aspire to participate in such things? What interests and goals does a person have to have in order that that he can benefit from such events? Can you describe that sort of a person? Who would that be?
So I think the persona you need to have is to the one who accepts challenges, who doesn't run away from it. Like you will find a lot of people who will just look at if we were those kind of people, Faz would have sent the link in the group chat and would have just ignored it, कह देंगे नहीं होगा हमसे, नहीं कर सकते. But we didn't do that. We tried it, even though we knew we aren't that capable. We knew we would be facing a lot of challenges, but we still went through it and we applied, and you can see the results.
Right. So I really appreciate the spirit, and especially something that Hussein said, nothing gets done until you start doing it. And I'm sure you approach your assignments the same way, with the same spirit. But I mean, this sounds like quite an experience. I mean, so there was this competition that you were unsure about, and then when you join, you see that there are these professionals from big companies, lots of experience. You go through this period of nervousness, hesitation. Are we even good enough? I don't even know Flutter. What is this? Maybe some of you didn't know this whole financial domain, so that's another challenge. But then, Abuza comes to the rescue, says, no, we can do it. and then all of you jump into it, and then not even do you do it. I mean, so there's this panic, late night calls, and you don't have a MacBook, and you call your friend at 1 a.m. and things work out, and then you win, you get special appreciation. So that all sounds very exciting. So what is next? Is JS Bank now in touch with you? I'd imagine that they'd be interested now that you won their track. They probably want to take this further. How is that working out? Or is anything happening in that regard?
So actually, we have been informed by Remotebase 1 week ago that we would be they would be connecting us to GS Bank. Then we would hopefully see what happens next. I have good hopes with this project. Let's see what happens now.
And like they specifically mentioned that JS Bank approached us, connect us with the developers who developed this app, and we would surely like to take this forward a step ahead in order to just finalize this and just launch it. So we are optimistic enough, like we are just hoping enough that inshallah they'll just reach out to us, and we are more than happy to work with them.
So also, I mean, Flutter is not something that is covered in any of our courses, I believe. So I'd also like to know how did Habib University, your time at Habib University, you're all students at one thing you share. I mean, you share a lot of time here. Maybe you know each other outside the university as well. But one thing that is common to all of you is that you're students here at Habib University in the computer science program. So how has that, or how did that influence, or how did that help you in this experience?
Like
Feel free to name courses.
like specifically for the Flutter wala part, Abuzer won the same hackathon organized by Telenor previous year as well. With like he worked with a senior who just got passed out from Habib, from the batch of 2020, Fatma Moina. You must have known her. So Abuzer worked with her in the past hackathon, and that was the platform, that was the time when he was like getting his grip on Flutter, and until now it's been a year, and like he was there for us to just scope up and care. Flutter is not that difficult. We all can just take a grip on that, and we'll be able to pull it off. So apart from the courses specifically, I believe you like what Hussein mentioned. Things don't get done until you just hope to do it. So you have to just take out the time and put some of the efforts apart from your university related, apart from your academics, for a specific support, and I have to just focus on a particular point, and eventually you'll be able to pull it off.
Okay, so I would like to mention first of all that the experience with the frameworks. So I started programming when I was in grade 9, but my logic, the core logic was not good enough. So when I entered Habib, I was just introduced to this course, Programming Fundamentals, and after that I was introduced to discrete maths. So these were two courses and the third course was data structure and algorithm. So I had tried to learn frameworks before. I had led to turn native Android, but I was not able to excel in any of those frameworks before taking these courses. So I believe that the fundamental courses like object-oriented programming, data structures and algorithm, programming fundamentals, and discrete maths, they were things that built me up, and then that gave me more power to think freely, to think what I can build on, and how I can innovate, how I can make my own design patterns, how I can do things more quickly, efficiently. So these were the main courses that gave me the exposure for a broader part of the computer science. That's it.
Yeah, I completely agree with Abuza. So today it's Flutter, so it's just a tool, it's a framework. Today it's Flutter, tomorrow it's something else. So if your concepts of OOP, data structures, algorithms is clear, you can learn any framework in no time. And if you have good graphs on design patterns as well, so it's really easy to jump onto new frameworks and new technology. So that really helps if you have that skill.
Okay, so when we talk about your this whole experience and how it turned out, what would, if you had to like summarize your what you learned and what you took away from it in a single one key takeaway, what would that be for each of you?
I think it's more about collaboration and teamwork. So we each of us had a certain task, and our task was fairly overlapping. Like I was doing design as well, I was doing backend as well, but the way we proceeded, the way we collaborated, and it was in mere 3 days. That was amazing. I haven't saw that in any of our group projects of any courses. So it was so in group projects in university we had this fear of grade, and we are all motivated to get a good grade or to get good marks. But in this it was nothing. It was just कि हमें एक अच्छा product बनाना है और and um, we might be the winners of the hackathon. So the motivation was to make a great product to impress the judges, and yeah, we all did that. So it was the teamwork and all of us were on the same page all the time.
Maybe the courses
should introduce cash prizes for assignments.
Jawad?
So I have quite a few, takeaways from the competition we had. First is one has to lose the fear of losing. Like in life, you may come across many opportunities, but agar aap you fear losing any competition, या फिर you cannot take the risk, so you will not never get exposed to what might be the best thing for you. मतलब till now मुझे भी नहीं पता था कि I'd be so good in Flutter, ठीक है. But after this competition, I've gained a significant amount of confidence. Yes, that maybe I can work on it, and so far things are going good for me. My second takeaway is try to make good friends, because अगर मैं यूनिवर्सिटी में अबूजर से नहीं मिला होता तो मैं कभी फ्लटर भी नहीं सीखता, ना कभी इस कंपटीशन में पार्टिसिपेट करता, और मैं यहाँ पे आपके सामने भी नहीं बैठा होता. सो इज के मेक फ्रेंड्स विद गुड पीपल जो कि दे आर मोटिवेटेड टुवर्ड्स वर्किंग, और पढ़ाई की तरफ उनका रुझान ज़्यादा हो, सो ताकि वो जब आप लैग कर रहे हो वो आपको मोटिवेट करें, और वाइस वर्सा. सो ताकि जो आपका जो बैचलर लाइफ है या कोई भी पार्ट है स्टूडेंट लाइफ का, तो यू कैन हैव अ गुड रिलेशन एंड गुड सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द पीपल अराउंड यू.
Right. So I like how Jawad stressed the importance of company. So there's something that I say sometimes in my classes, which is not being very popular. So there's this idiom, "Dana dushman nadan do se behtar hai." So I completely agree. Company is very important. Make sure that you bond with the people who inspire you, who can bring out the best in you. Abu sir.
So one key takeaway would be like teamwork is the best thing that you can. It is the best key to win everything. And for the teamwork, you have to as Sir Waqar stressed that you have आपके पास एक अच्छी company होना ज़रूरी है. And also I would like just say it क्योंकि आप लोग सब मुझ पे ही वो करे जा रहे हो, तो मुझे थोड़ा वो बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है. So I would just say that कि सिर्फ मैं नहीं था, मेरे साथ जो है फाज भी जो है, फाज is like that guy that supports me on the back end. He's with me every day. He's the one that teaches me the most. So I would give all the credit that they all gave it to me to pass.
ऐसे पूरे.
Yeah, so what everyone else mentioned, indeed, teamwork is the biggest key to success. And again, like I would really say that the major takeaway was never let your motivation die. And like as I mentioned, the competition was indeed tough, and we got a lot of competitive participants amongst ourselves, and like they were as I mentioned, with years and years of experiences and all, but still we were able to pull it off just because we all got a company who were constantly provoking us कि यार नहीं हारने की बात like again what the बात mentioned, fear of losing निकाल के फेंकना है बाहर, because it's not important, like it's really not important कि आप जीतो या हारो. Again यही है कि it's the like what you learn from the particular project, that's what matters a lot. So yeah, that's it.
जीतो या हारो.
Well, this was applied yesterday as well. तुम जीतो या हारो सुनो.
All right, so almost everything has been mentioned by everyone. Fear of losing को बाहर निकालना है, motivation down नहीं करना, and अपने अच्छे दोस्त बनाने हैं. But for my takeaway, I agree with everyone. But another takeaway is that I'd like to repeat that phrase again. Nothing gets done unless you start doing it. So अगर हम बैठे रहते हो चीज़ों हम हमारी motivation down हुई थी, we were on the verge of leaving it. We were going back home. अगर हम छोड़ देते हो, अगर नहीं करते तो we wouldn't have been here. And and yeah, that's it. Never let your motivation down, and don't fear about losing or winning, because losing helps you learn more, and winning boosts your ego.
Whose house was the headquarters? Asad.
So they were like there for like in my house for the consistence of 3 days, and we ordered food by a food panda, and we were just like sitting over there, eating over there, sleeping over there. So it was so kind of a mini software house for 3 days.
Okay, so with that, we would be heading towards the end of this show. Thank you, all 5 of you, for making it here and sharing your valuable experiences with us, with the Beep community. The community hopefully will be very motivated, and by looking at you and idolizing the likes of people like you, they themselves would be willing to get exposed to such competitions and make most of their time at Habib and even after it.
So thank you, everyone. That brings us to the end of our show. To the viewers, please join us next week when we have more inspiring figures from among us who have done interesting things. And thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week as well. Thank you, Team GharPay.
Thank you so much. Much
Thank
appreciated.
you. Thanks a lot.
You're watching Runway Radio.